we have Virginia, right? Their over-win total is also at 4.5, right? Tony Elliott, hot seat season. This is make or break for him. Not necessarily make or break, but I would love to see some improvement in year three. Obviously, that's had a lot to deal with, in rebuilding their roster. But to me, I'm looking for an offensive playmaker to emerge outside of Calandria, obviously, who's awesome. With someone trying to replace Malik Washington. And obviously you're not going to have the same production of Malik Washington, but you someone's got to fill that void and get all those catches and yards and touchdowns that Washington did. And it could be a collection of guys, right? You got Malachi Fields is still there. Chris Tyree comes in from Notre Dame. Terrell Harris from Kent State. Andre Green from North Carolina. Right, even the tight end, right? Tyler Neville, who is a playmaker that Calandria and Toniel can rely on for Virginia.
Yeah. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? That is a huge question. Like you talked about that. I think that answer is more likely to be answered in the spring than the question of like, can kind of similar to what we talked about with um Virginia Tech. Sorry, jeez, or sorry, Georgia Tech. Their run defense has been pretty abysmal. Their front seven has not been very effective at all in the last couple seasons. Can you see some improvements there at all? Uh, yeah, offensively, does Calandria get the start? Does he get the nod? Gosh, I would love to see him get the nod. That dude is frisky as heck. So, any other questions that you have for Virginia heading into spring ball?
Not really, but I mean, I guess looking forward to their season. Like you have a tough schedule, right? You open with Richmond, okay, gotta be a win. But every game after that, to me, I do not feel is any surefire wins. Hence the reason why your line is at 4.5, which might even be higher. I think this team might be a little bit better than in previous years, but their schedule is brutal, right? Out of conference, you have Maryland at home as well as at Coastal Carolina, right? That's a great G5 program to play on the road, right? That's brutal for Virginia. And obviously in conference, right? The only good home game you get is Boston College and SMU, right? Everyone else is either significantly more talented than you are or you're on the road, right? And that's never a good recipe for, reaching a bowl game in with a team that's, on the bottom half of talent in the ACC. And that's the reality of it right now. So we'll see. I do think the team might be better next year in terms of just pure talent and execution, but their schedule does not do them any favors.
Yeah, they could win less games than they did last year and be a better football team for sure.
And that's not a good recipe for Tony Elliott, trying to get an
It's
extension.
yeah. Is he on the hot seat?
It's so hard to say at Virginia. You knew it was going to
I
take a
know.
couple of years. Do I think he has it going in the right direction? Like, am I surefire he's the guy at Virginia? No. In fact, I lean towards no, he's probably going to get fired in the next 2 years. But a lot can change. We saw Neil Brown, change in West Virginia. We've seen it happen before. Like we said, they're getting better, so it's got to be doing something right. So we'll see. We'll see. And then lastly, we have, Stanford Cardinals, right? Their owner totals 3.5 in their first year in the ACC. Super exciting. Obviously, to watch some of these matchups. They're playing SMU, they're playing Cal, obviously, but also, everyone else in the ACC. I do love their recruiting and the way Troy Taylor is moving the direction of the Stanford football team and the program. But is it going to lead to wins right away? I don't know. I really don't. They can't bring in a ton of transfers, similar to what I talked about with Duke and some other high level programs, academic programs in the ACC. It's tough to bring in transfer portals. But hey, I love their true freshmen coming in the spring, specifically two of them. And I'll highlight them. And this is what I'm looking for. Elijah Brown, right? Troy Taylor's already said that there is a quarterback competition and Elijah Brown has a chance to win it. And to me, I know it's a lot to put on a true freshman, but he is used to competition, right? From Mater D in California there, obviously staying in the in-state, going up to Stanford in Palo Alto. And so, yeah, very excited to see that. And then Benedict Uma, right? A guy we talked about on the channel back in the summer edge guy from Old Avalon's farm. Two guys I'm really excited about. The crown jewels of Troy Taylor's first real class. And yeah, and even Emmett Mosley too, I'll throw in there. Those guys I would love to see, come in, set a culture, and up just the level of athlete in that Stanford locker room.
Yeah, obviously you lose Jurasek at tight end, which I think is underrated. That's a very underrated loss, and that was a awesome get for he went to Georgia, right? Is
Yeah,
that
of course.
of course? I'm just keep loading up at the tight end position. So yeah, are you gonna have more? Are you gonna have more folks step up in the same way that I mean, you got Ayo Manor, right? I believe he's still there, of course, after his just monster game against Colorado. He's kind of a stud. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
You got Tiger
Uh,
Bachmeyer.
well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Can you get guys? I know Benjamin Yurcek wasn't like a world beater, but he was a very, very reliable option and that kind of a safe blanket. If you're gonna have a true freshman quarterback out there, do you know how much it benefits you to have a solid pass catching tight end out there for your true freshman quarterback? Just a big body
Mm.
receiver that like, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't make the right read. Well, let's go see if Ben Yurcek is going to moss some dude in the middle of the field, right? I, I think that I think it's going to be a bigger loss than we think it is. Then I think also you lose EJ Smith, of course, at running back. He goes to Texas A&M. I really liked what he did there, but overall, I do like what Troy Taylor is doing with the program. He's recruiting at a high level. We'll see, man. We will see. But yeah, can you have reliable pass catchers? And I think you did last year. I think you did. You had reliable pass catchers last year. Can you get
But
more
can
of
you
that
get
production?
can
Can
you
you
get
get
someone
him?
to throw it to him? Right?
Yeah.
Elijah Brown, that would be really exciting. And hey, I get it this year. Maybe not a bowl game, maybe not competing for the ACC right away, but this year is a building block year for Troy Taylor, but also for his donors, for athletic department, to make sure that you have a guy that you're excited about. And if Elijah Brown comes in and lights it up in the spring game, I mean, you're telling me that season ticket holders, season tickets won't go up, right? Like that to me, I think that would be massive for the future of the program and obviously Troy Taylor's success there.